Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. Before we do, Mrs. Weedman and I are going to be covering the latest and greatest news in research, science, and health. We got political news, business news, and some state news that might be around your area. Then some international news. We go global. We talk about global. And then Mrs. Weedman's going to end it with some cannabis culture. And now let's get normal with some honey bananas grown by Lifted MicroGrowery out of Michigan. And this was given to us by our good friend Midwest Terps for the Midwest Terp Off Michigan versus Illinois. So I'd like to thank Midwest Terps and Lifted MicroGrowery to throw into the cause. And honey bananas is an evenly balanced hybrid 50-50 strain created through a cross of rare strawberry banana and honey boo boo strains. The rare bud is beloved for its insanely delicious flavor and relatively mellow effects that are powered by the average THC level between 18 and 22%. Much like its name suggests, honey bananas has a super sweet flavor of tree fruit, bananas, and honey with a sugar candy aftertaste that intensifies upon exhale. The aroma is very fruity with an earthy pungency that has a super sweet effect that's released as nugs are broken apart. Honey bananas has effects that are very well balanced in nature and are ideal for later in the day. The high starts with the euphoric, uplifted state that leaves you slightly energized and mild sense of artistic motivation. Ooh, Mrs. Weedman likes that. As the high builds, it becomes very hazy, leaving you sedated and very sleepy.
Oh, dear.
With a building case of Mrs. Weedman's favorite, the munchies.
Oh, great.
These effects make honey bananas the perfect bud for treating conditions such as insomnia, chronic fatigue, mild case of depression, chronic stress or anxiety, and headaches or migraines. This bud has large and dense bright neon green spade-shaped nugs with light amber hairs and super sticky coating of sweet, syrupy resin. And I grinded this up, and it was fragrant, and it was resiny for sure. And I thank you for throwing to the cause, and I'm looking forward to smoking this. I am right now, while Mrs. Weedman tells you about 8decades.com.
Yes, head on over to 8decades.com. That is our online store where you can buy 8 Decades goods. We are a cannabis lifestyle brand trying to stomp the stigma and free the plant through products that get the conversation going about cannabis. So we've got really nice rolling trays, storage jars, hemp clothing. We also have more information about me and Mr. Weedman, what we do, what our advocacy is all about. And you can also find links to the podcast and some swag for the Weedman 420 show.
Yay.
So check us out at EIGHTdecades.com. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you will get free shipping on your first order.
Yes, and as I always say, support the cause. We get to pay our shawty of the producer. We love her and we need her. So as you support 8decades.com, we get to pay our producers. So thank you very much, everybody out there that supports us. And today is May 5th. Can you believe it? Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Drinko.
Yeah, Cinco de Margaritaville.
Yeah.
So happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody out there. If you're celebrating with a margarita in your hand, please enjoy and please be safe. Or you could have a nice fat doink in your hand too with that margarita. So enjoy today.
There's always
everybody.
420 on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, yeah, always 420. Something funny. So I got this one. I was reading this from Boing Boing, this article, and it was a very long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Back in 1884, Mrs. Weedman, this New York doctor named Frank Dudley Bean, FDB, decided to experiment on himself using cannabis because apparently clinical trials back then meant just vibe it out and write it down later. So he took a dose of cannabis, mixed it with another drug, trying to treat chronic pain. Now, this is 1884, okay?
It's a long time ago.
Yes, very long time ago. And so he mixed these two, and about 30 minutes in, things got a little weird. He reported that his body started distorting, and his chest felt like it expanded into a barrel. Now, this is kind of funny. In 1884, this happened to somebody that took a little too much. We've seen and heard of happening, today?
Today.
Yeah.
I just did the math. That's 142 years ago. There definitely wasn't internet. There were not phones.
No.
There were not a lot of things. So your experiences were as wide as the area that you lived in, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you were smoking weed back then, you might have been the only one.
And back then it was more
or you
tinctures.
Weren't talking about
it was tinctures too. That's what he used, was a tincture.
Maybe they did talk about it because it didn't have all the stigmas, right?
Well, it wasn't illegal back then.
Right. It was just a plant.
And remember, guys were walking around with the magic miracle bottles that said marijuana on it. Yeah. But he said his hands turned into what he described as boxing gloves, and his arms shrank down 5 inches into T-Rex arms, he said.
I want to feel like that.
He said, yes, 5 inches. His arm shrank. He wrote it in his notes. I don't know how he was writing when he had T-Rex arms, though. I wish I had video right now for you all to see me with my T-Rex arms. But so at one point he said he felt he existed in 3 places at once.
Whoa.
I want to know I want to be what he was on.
Yeah. I want T-Rex arms and
one version of him of lying
traveling.
in bed. Another one, he said, floating through a dark tunnel.
Dang.
And a third just standing there watching it all happen. So he had an
I had one of those kind
of. You
had
an outer body experience.
Yeah.
So the whole experience, he said, lasted 7 hours.
Whoa.
In his notes. With glowing lights. He was totally in a euphoric state. Absolutely. Strange colors, deep sense of calm, even compared it to dying peacefully. Crazy. So then another doctor stepped in, though, and treated him with atropine and guess what?
What?
Brandy. Because I guess back then,
alcohol. Booze you up.
then, apparently in the 1800s.
Have a shot.
Yeah.
You'll feel better.
Have brandy instead of drink some water and chill or go for a walk in like the cold air.
That was like their pain medication.
So
have some booze.
Little atropine and brandy. By the next day, he said he was a little weak, a little dizzy, but he was extremely hungry and probably rethinking all of his life choices. But here's the funniest part. After all that, his official medical conclusion was basically, cannabis works pretty well for pain. And also, it's pretty solid exhilarant. So even though he had the T-Rex arms, he still recommended it.
He enjoyed the moment.
Yes. And there's a moral to this story.
What is it?
You ready?
Tell me.
Humans have always been pushing the limits and sometimes discovering the munchies the hard way.
I guess so.
Let me see. I think there was a dosage that he took, like so much, and it was like mims. It was like 200, like 20 mims, was it? I think 22 and a half minims, MINIMS, which is like a basically a measurement of how much he took. Minimums. So, and then he took 7 minimums of cannabis indica alongside 22 and a half minimums of ergot. Can you look that up? What is ERGOT? And
fungi.
So you took some mushrooms too. Oh, that's a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
If you want an outer body experience, to watch yourself floating in a cloud or like just laying there in T-Rex arms and you're watching this all happen. So you have to take 7.5 minimums of cannabis indica alongside 22.5 minimums of ergot. To feel
I don't
like
think
he felt.
This shroom was necessarily the shroom that you'd be reaching for ever again. It says the neurological convulsive symptoms are that you will hallucinate. This from the ergot parasitic fungus. So you'll have hallucinations, paranoia, psychosis, muscle spasms, tremors, and severe convulsions, confusion, delirium, and mania, along with some nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and diarrhea, and your heart will go slowly. That sounds like a fun fucking time. Give me some of that shit. Well, mix that with some weed and you would really feel like a sloth.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel like a sloth right now. Thanks, Honey Banana.
Yeah.
Lifted MicroGrowery.
Yeah.
That description is kind of spot on.
I really wanted to taste it, but
the smell was great. Yeah. The taste was good, but the smell when I was grinding it was
people,
really nice.
You have no idea how wonderful it is to have taste buds until you don't have them.
Until you don't have them. Mrs. Weedman has no taste buds.
It's not that I don't have any. They're just weird. Like I have minimal taste. Sometimes I taste. Sometimes I don't taste at all.
Sometimes you take 2 bites and you lose it.
And then it's gone. And then it comes back. And then I taste this bite and I don't taste that bite. Oof. It's hard to cook, right? It's hard to enjoy things you enjoy. This sucks. So enjoy your taste buds. Well, I mean, it's medicine.
You do look beautiful tonight, though.
Oh.
Your hair's in a bun tonight.
I feel like
it looks really good.
I got the bun?
Yeah. Should we tell one more story?
I feel so slow right now.
Oh, I'm fucking stoned. That's why I'm not starting yet. Like, I'm pretty lit right now.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Weedman, our studio's not ready yet. So electric just got done. We've been living in this house now for almost 5 months. And electric finally got done to where now we could start like finishing the studio and putting lights up and stuff and then being able to film in here. So sorry, it's been a while. It's been 4 months, almost 5 since we recorded a video. So we apologize, but we will get there. Trust me, it's not our fault. When you're hiring people to work, you have to be on their time sometimes. And it was all in steps to where we're at today. But we do have safety in our house. Mm-hmm. The electric was not safe.
No, it was not.
Mr. and Mrs. Weedman did not feel safe in his home for a few months.
Yeah.
So now we can finally plug stuff in and don't feel like the house is going to light on fire.
Yes. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Isn't that such a good thing? Oh my God. I am
I'm stoned.
So sloppy. I'm very clear-minded.
Yes, but I'm very stoned.
But my brain is just like
floating.
Just sit.
Here,
do nothing.
I'm floating right now.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Feels great. Except my neck still hurts.
No? We'll smoke a little more after
like
this
that
show.
always like there's always a breakthrough there.
Yeah.
But I feel great.
So this property we bought.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Real quick before we start. There's a lot of it's very, very grassy and there's a lot of trees and a lot of forestry and it's very beautiful. But we live in tick heaven.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my gosh.
We're learning.
Almost every one of our
quickly.
family members has had a tick on them.
Yes.
Ma 420 had one embedded in her.
And we think that it was sucking her blood.
Yeah. So
for a little minute or two.
So this is very, very tick haven.
I'm not laughing because it's really not funny.
No.
Like
Mrs. Weedman had 2 in her hair.
Yep.
And I had one on my arm. So we live in tick heaven and we have to mow this lawn and we have to do yard work and we're trying to clean it up. So Mr. and Mrs. Weedman were stoned a couple nights ago when we were in the back getting ready for bed and Mrs. Weedman was checking for ticks because Ma 420 found the tick on her. And so Mrs. Weedman was checking for ticks and
tick check.
And we were
we came up with all sorts of funny things about tick checking.
Of funny tick.
I'm sure other people can relate.
Yes, so like spreading eagle and using a flashlight to look and doing the tick dance.
All good.
Yeah, you were like doing a tick dance, like crossing your hands.
I was doing the floss.
Yeah, So we were having some fun with the tick check going. I'll be happy to get a flashlight and spread to check for you, Mrs. Weedman, anytime.
All right, weirdo. Too much information.
But this was our bathroom talk while we were getting ready for bed, and we were hysterical laughing.
We're like, I guess we have to do this every night.
We have to like look
you
for
check me, I'll
ticks.
check you.
Yes, we have to check for ticks.
Check.
So yes,
crack check.
I actually someone gave me a recipe for I actually made it today. I was out there doing a little yard work at the end of the day, and this spray. It's a bunch of different types of essential oils and some white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and I sprayed that like I bathed in it before I went outside to go do yard work.
Of course, I put nothing.
Nothing. You didn't have socks on.
Nah.
Over your pants.
Oh, I had socks on.
Not over your pants.
Oh no,
though.
I had open ankles. I mean, if they're going to be on me, what difference does it make?
There's ways to get them not on you. I don't want ticks on
me. They still got on you with all your remedies.
No, not today. This
but
was the other day when I didn't have the remedy on me.
Yeah.
It was just on my shirt. But because I'm
just going to do a thorough check.
I have pants tucked into my yard pants tucked into my socks. I have long boots on. I have 2 shirts on tucked in with a tight belt, and I have a hat on and gloves, and my shirt is tucked over my gloves. And then the other day, when I was working out in the yard the other day, I put blue painter's tape around all the openings.
Extreme. Everything is
But
always...
today I didn't do the tape.
Prepared, and I just wing shit. Like, just go.
Today I didn't do the tape. Today I did the spray all over my neck, the only part of my body that's bare is my front of my face and my neck. And I sprayed it all over the back of my neck, and I sprayed it all around my pant legs and around my arms. And it smelled beautiful too. I smelled really nice, like a flower.
Like a flower. You smell like a flower.
With a little bit of vinegar. With a little bit of vinegar.
Yeah, I smelled the vinegar. You were by me at one point. I'm like, why do I smell vinegar? And now I know why.
Yes, white vinegar. Distilled white vinegar. So that I sprayed it. I bathed in it before I went out today. Here's the reason why I don't want to get a tick. Because I don't want to I don't want to be able not to eat red meat.
Oh, well, I don't want a tick. I just think that the path will still lead to checking for ticks, right, whether you put spray on or not. So why bother putting spray on?
Because maybe they won't come on me at all.
Ooh, there's a mosquito on your head.
Really?
No, it's like right over your head.
Oh, seriously?
We've got mounds of mosquitoes out here.
Mosquito life is crazy.
Holy cazoli.
Yeah, crazy. All right, let's get the show started.
We're so baked. Bear with us. We will try to entertain you today.
We'll come back.
Right now, we're probably putting you to sleep.
Yep.
Okay.
The next one comes from Unilad Tech, and it dives into something a lot of people don't think about when it comes to cannabis. Male fertility. As legalization spreads and more people are using cannabis regularly, doctors are starting to take a closer look at how it affects the body long term. And one area getting attention right now is sperm health. According to medical experts, recent research, cannabis use, especially frequent and heavy use, may have noticeable impact on sperm quality. We're talking about things like reduced sperm count and concentration, meaning fewer swimmers overall. And but it doesn't stop there. Studies also show changes in motility, which is how well sperm can actually move, and morphology, basically their shape, because if they're not built right, they're not getting very far. And if the swimmers can't swim or are shaped weird, that's going to make things a lot harder when it comes to reproduction. Now, here's where it gets a little deeper. Scientists believe THC, the main psychoactive compound in cannabis, can interfere with the body's endocannabinoid system, which actually plays a role in reproductive function. The disruption can affect how sperm develops function over time. Some studies even suggest cannabis use may mess with the mitochondria inside sperm cells, basically the engine that powers their movement. If the engine slows down, the sperm struggles to reach the egg. There's also emerging research about epigenetics, which how your genes are expressed. In simple terms, cannabis exposure might not just affect the user, it could potentially influence genetic signaling passed on to the offspring. So yeah, we're not just talking about short-term effects. This can go deeper than people think. Now let's keep it real. This isn't completely settled debate. Some studies have found little to no major impact on sperm quality, and researchers are still trying to figure out how factors like dosage, frequency, and overall health play into equation. So it's not as simple as weed equals to no kids. There are plenty of regular cannabis users who have no problem having children. You're one speaking to you all right now. But the overall trend in the research, it leans toward caution, especially for heavy users or anyone actively trying to conceive. In fact, some doctors recommend that men stop using cannabis for a few months before trying to have a child, just to give your body some time to reset and produce healthier sperm. So some doctors are telling you not to smoke weed, just give your body a break for a couple months and then have some fun. At the end of the day, this is one of those areas with science is still catching up to culture. Cannabis is becoming more accepted, more normalized, but we're still learning exactly how it affects the body in the long run. So if you're just smoking and vibing, cool. But if you're planning on starting a family anytime soon, it might be worth paying attention to what's going on behind the scenes, because it turns out your future kids might depend on it. Now, Mrs. Weedman is going to talk a little about cannabis and assisted living, what seniors and families need to know. Tell us about Mrs. Weedman.
This first article that I'm bringing you today looks at something a lot of families are starting to face, but not many are starting to talk about: cannabis use inside assisted living and senior care. Older adults are now one of the fastest growing groups in cannabis in the United States, often for chronic pain, sleep issues, anxiety, and appetite loss. Green State reports that as more seniors, hang on a minute, I'm just laughing because I'm watching Mr. Weedman.
There's a mosquito. I see it.
Oh, is that why you were
Yeah.
I thought you were rubbing
Oh,
sleepy eyes.
No, it's on my computer.
Because we're both just so chill from this weed. All right.
I got the mosquito.
Yay. That's wonderful.
Got it.
You saved my life. All right. So older adults are now one of the fastest growing groups using cannabis in the United States, often for chronic pain, sleep issues, anxiety, and appetite loss. Green State reports that as more seniors enter assisted living, cannabis is quietly becoming part of the conversation, but policies are all over the place. Some facilities allow it under strict rules like self-administration or only non-smokable forms such as tinctures, capsules, or topicals. Smoking is almost always banned. In certain cases, families may even be responsible for storing or helping administer the products. But things get complicated pretty quickly. Cannabis is still federally illegal, and many senior living facilities rely on federal funding. Dun, da, da. That creates hesitation, even in states where medical cannabis is legal. So, while a resident might be legally allowed to use it, the facility itself can still restrict or prohibit it. There are also safety concerns. Seniors process substances differently, and many are already taking multiple medications, increasing the risk of interactions. THC in higher doses can raise fall risks or impact cognition, especially in patients with dementia. Because of that, doctors often recommend a start low and go slow approach, along with close medical supervision. CBD has become a more accepted entry point since it doesn't produce a strong high. Topical CBD products for joint pain are already showing up in assisted living rooms alongside everyday items like heating pads. Still, staff training remains a major hurdle. Care providers need to understand dosing, side effects, and how cannabis can interact with other medications. It's something that many facilities just aren't equipped to handle yet. Even with the challenges, though, the cultural shift is undeniable. Today's seniors are part of that generation that helped normalize cannabis, and now they're bringing those expectations along with them to their long-term care. The big question now isn't whether cannabis belongs in assisted living, it's how to integrate it safely, legally, and responsibly as senior care continues to evolve.
Care for those seniors.
Care for those seniors.
This next one comes from SAG.org, and it connects cannabis to beer. They are cousins. I've said that way back when we started the show, when we talked about this one other time. So, yes, this is one of those wait, what kind of studies? Researchers out of the University of College of Dublin have identified what they're calling genetic sex switch in cannabis plants. And here's the twist. They found that same system may also exist in hops, the plant used to make beer. So right off the bat, cannabis and beer just became distant biological cousins. Now let's break this down. Cannabis plant can be male or female. Growers already know this because female plants are the ones that produce cannabinoids like THC and CBD, while males are mostly used for breeding. That's all the male plant's good for. But for years, scientists didn't fully understand what actually controls the difference at the genetic level. The new study zoomed in on the plant's DNA and found a specific region on the X chromosome, a small cluster of 3 genes that basically acts like a switch, determining whether the plant develops as male, female, or even both. And that's a big deal because we're not talking about thousands of genes anymore. It's a very targeted control point. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. When researchers looked at hops, the plant used in brewing beer, they found that same genetic setup in a matching location on the chromosome, meaning this sex switch likely existed before cannabis and hops split into separate species, but scientists estimated happening around 28 million years ago. So yeah, this connection goes way back. And if you're wondering why this matters outside of science labs, it actually has some real-world impact. In both cannabis and hops, female plants are the moneymakers. In cannabis, females produce cannabinoids. In hops, females produce the cones that give beer its flavor and aroma. Male plants, not nearly as useful in those contexts. So if growers can better understand or even control this genetic switch, it could help them produce more consistent all-female crops, reduce waste, and boost overall yields. That's huge for both the cannabis industry and the brewing world. It could also help create more uniform plants for things like hemp fiber production, where consistency really matters. Now, stepping back a little, this is another example of how cannabis research is expanding now that stigma and restrictions are slowly easing. We're not just learning how it affects people. We're learning how the plant itself works on a genetic level. And discoveries like this don't just stay in cannabis. They ripple out into agriculture, genetics, and even other industries like brewing. So yeah, next time you crack open a beer or roll something up, just know those plants might be sharing the same ancient genetic playbook, which is kind of wild because science just confirmed what a lot of people already suspected. Beer and weed, they've been linked for a long time. Yes, they have. Two things I like very much. I like a good beer, and I love great weed. Two things I love. So, Ms. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
Why are more Gen Z workers, why are they using cannabis during the workday?
Yeah, this next story taps into a generational shift that's starting to raise eyebrows in workplaces across the country. Gen Z and cannabis use during the workday. According to Inc., more young workers are turning to cannabis not just after hours, but during their workday itself. And for many, it's not about partying, it's about coping. Stress is a major driver. Gen Z workers are dealing with high costs of living, constant digital pressure, and job instability. Surveys show a significant portion are using substances like cannabis before work, during breaks, and after shifts just to manage their stress. But it's not just about relief. Some see it as a productivity tool. A growing number of Gen Z employees report that cannabis helps them focus, stay calm, or get through repetitive or high-pressure tasks. In certain creative or remote work environments, the stigma is fading, and attitudes toward on-the-job cannabis use are becoming more relaxed. That said, not everyone's on board. Employers are still trying, I said that kind of funny, didn't I? Employers are still trying to figure out where to draw the line. Unlike alcohol, cannabis laws vary by state to state, and impairment is harder to measure. Companies are balancing employee wellness with safety, especially in roles that require attention, coordination, or decision-making. There's also concern about long-term effects. While some workers say cannabis helps them function, experts warn that relying on it during the workday could blur boundaries between productivity and dependency. Still, the trend highlights a bigger issue. For many young workers, this isn't just about cannabis. It's about burnout. When people feel overwhelmed and unsupported, they look for ways to cope, and cannabis is becoming one of the more socially accepted options. The workplace is evolving, and so are the habits that come with it. Gen Z users are pushing boundaries by using cannabis at work, while employers are struggling to keep up with the changes.
There it is.
There it is.
Keeping up with the changes. Political state and business news. A new analysis says cannabis legalization is opening major doors for research, giving scientists easier access to study everything from health effects to medical benefits. Federal restrictions have long slowed progress, but loosening policies could lead to more accurate, large-scale studies and better public understanding. Crazy how legalizing something suddenly makes it easier to actually study it. AI and robotics are rapidly expanding across the cannabis industry, helping automate trimming, packaging, and cultivation tasks. While businesses gain efficiency and consistency, there are growing concerns about job displacement for human workers. Still, many experts say tech will likely shape roles rather than eliminate them entirely. So robots are rolling up on the trimming crew like, yo, we got this. Indiana's Republican governor is directing state agencies to meet with medical marijuana advocates following federal rescheduling changes. The move signals a potential shift in tone as officials begin exploring policy options and hearing directly from supporters in a historically resistant state. Indiana finally opening the door. Man, sorry, couldn't get that word out there for a second. Whew. Honey banana, thank you. Just cracking it, but still progress. So Indiana, the governor, we've been talking about Indiana for some time now, right? He's keeping his word. He said if it ever went federally legal or get rescheduled, he was going to consider it. So when you find out how much Indiana spends on weed that they don't, like, the state doesn't sell, I'll talk about that in a minute here. You're going to be like, oh, federal marijuana rescheduling could reduce discrimination against medical cannabis patients in housing, healthcare, and employment. By changing its classifications, patients may gain stronger legal protections and broader acceptance across institutions like previously penalized cannabis use. Federal cannabis reclassification could significantly boost Vermont's medical marijuana market with fewer restrictions. Businesses may expand operations and patient access could improve, giving the state's smaller medical program new momentum and competitive regional market. Vermont's like, we've been ready. Y'all just catching up. Tennessee's governor signed a bill blocking further review of medical marijuana legalization. Oh, man, Tennessee. Even as federal rescheduling moves forward, the decision halts momentum in the state and keeps strict cannabis policies in place despite growing national reform efforts. Tennessee saw progress coming and said, not in my house. Medical marijuana is gaining federal acceptance. Recreational cannabis faces a major upcoming hearing that could shape future legalization efforts. The decision may influence how far broader reform goes and how quickly states can expand adult use markets. Medical got the green light. Recreational is still stuck at the red. There's growing push for indigenous cannabis sovereignty, and native communities working to control cultivation, sales, and regulations on their own land. Advocates say it's about economic independence, cultural respect, and correcting historical injustices tied to prohibition policies. Florida regulators are clashing with cannabis giant Trulieve over alleged pollution at a cultivation site. The dispute centers in environmental compliance with potential legal and financial consequences as scrutiny increases on large operators. Indiana residents spend around $1.8 billion annually on illegal cannabis.
Wow.
Fueling renewed legalization debates, advocates argue regulation could redirect that money into tax revenue and public programs instead of underground market. That's a lot of cash for somebody that's saying nobody wants it. $1.8 billion on illegal. That's not talking about how many people from Indiana come here to Illinois and to Michigan and probably Ohio.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Governor, you're letting your folks in your state get illegal cannabis instead of having at least start with med.
Something.
Just fuck it. We've said this before, just decriminalize it and let people grow their own. So they can not have to get it from the underground market. They can just learn to do it themselves. You've always said your state's in the green with money. You got a cash flow. So fuck it, just decriminalize it. Lawsuit accusing Missouri's largest cannabis retail chain. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Good Day Farms.
Okay.
Owned by someone in the Walmart family.
Yeah.
Of running a price-fixing cartel, potentially inflating costs for consumers.
Just in that state, or are they saying?
They're in Missouri, yeah. The Arkansas family.
Wow.
Oh, I think they own 63 of them in Missouri.
Wow.
So the case could have major implications for market fairness and regulatory oversight, and allegations hold up in court. Nothing says free market like allegedly fixing the prices. Yeah. Here's the deal: when you let that happen, of course corporations are going to come in and buy all the small guys out because you didn't allow them to say you're only allowed to have 10 or 5 stores. Here in Illinois, you can only allowed to have 10 licenses. That may change because I heard a little bit of a rumor they're trying to get that to change here in the state to be able to have 50. So it'll be just like Missouri, where the Walmart family came in and went, and bought a bunch. There's another family too out in the West Coast too that bought something like they're buying up all the dispensaries too. TJ Maxx, maybe, I think. I can't remember. I can't remember what family. I fucking just read it, but crazy. But now over to you, Mrs. Weedman.
Whoa, I better put my glasses on. Hold on, kids. All right, I've got some more political, state, and business news. State-licensed cannabis businesses can now apply for federal protections through a new DEA form tied to marijuana rescheduling. The move could help legitimize operations and reduce legal risks for companies navigating the gap between state and federal law, marking another step toward broader industry stability. Paperwork is finally working in the industry's favor. Imagine that. A Colorado bill that would have allowed THC-infused drinks at bars and restaurants has officially failed. Lawmakers cited concerns over safety regulation and overconsumption, despite growing demand for cannabis beverages across the country. They say You can light it, but don't try to toast with it. Some Republicans in Congress are continuing efforts to... my punchlines at the end, I'm not landing them. I'm no comedian.
I thought the first one was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not a comedian. Yeah. All right, I got to rewrite some things here. Some Republicans in Congress, or maybe it's just that I'm really stoned and I can't speak.
Just so you all know, I write Mrs. Weedman's political statements news for her, so the one-liners are mine. And maybe I need to learn your voice.
My humor,
your inner
my
voice.
delivery versus your delivery. Some Republicans in Congress are continuing efforts to block marijuana rescheduling, even as federal momentum moves forward. The push highlights ongoing divisions in cannabis policy and shows the debate over reform is still far from resolved. It's the same conversation, just a different year. Marijuana reclassification could significantly expand medical research, allowing scientists to better study both the benefits and potential risks of cannabis. Experts say removing strict restrictions is key to gaining clearer, evidence-based understanding moving forward. Maryland has approved a new law allowing firefighters and rescue workers to use medical marijuana off-duty without facing penalties. The policy balances patient rights with workplace safety, reflecting a shift in how cannabis use is viewed among public service professionals. California continues to struggle with a declining legal cannabis market, facing high taxes, falling sales, and strong competition from the illicit market. State leaders are working on solutions, but the industry remains under heavy pressure. Legal weed should not be losing to illegal weed. It's a shame, but it's still happening. Mm-hmm. Support for federal marijuana rescheduling is growing across political lines, with some lawmakers backing the move. While acknowledging it doesn't fully address past harms caused by prohibition, the shift signals progress, even as calls for deeper reform continue. Baby steps forward. Louisiana lawmakers have passed a bill increasing penalties for smoking marijuana near college campuses, including potential jail time. The move adds stricter enforcement despite broader national trends toward legalization and relaxed cannabis laws. Campus rules just got a whole lot stricter, too. Medical marijuana is being explored as a possible treatment for autism, with some early reports showing promising outcomes. However, experts emphasize that more research is needed to fully understand its safety, effectiveness, and long-term impact. Promising, but it's still under the microscope. Marijuana reclassification is expected to bring several benefits, including expanded research opportunities, improved patient access, and potential economic growth. At the same time, regulators are watching closely to address any emerging challenges. There's a Florida nonprofit helping veterans get medical marijuana cards at no cost, improving access for those dealing with chronic pain and PTSD. The program aims to remove financial barriers and support those who served. That's real support that could be a game changer for some veterans. That's it with my news. Mr. Weedman, it's back over to you.
Thank you. The U.S. House passed the 2026 Farm Bill, and it keeps controversial ban of intoxicating hemp-derived products in place. The move targets items like Delta-8 and similar compounds, tightening federal oversight and potentially reshaping the hemp market nationwide. Calls are growing at the federal level to revise laws tied to upcoming hemp product ban, with pressure mounting on Congress to address unintended consequences for farmers and businesses. Industry leaders warn that the current approach could disrupt a rapidly expanding market. Federal officials are signaling a possible shift away from prosecuting marijuana users who legally own firearms, a long-debated issue tied to conflicting federal and state laws. The change could ease legal risk for cannabis consumers who also exercise gun ownership rights. Newly selected Surgeon General nominee is drawing attention after past comments linking marijuana use to developing man boobs. Yes, I said it. The Surgeon General nominee thinks if you smoke marijuana, men, you get man boobs. Man boobs. Boob man. Man boobs. Sparking debate over cannabis science and outdated claims. I haven't smoked weed since I was 13 years old. Do I have man boobs, Mrs. Weedman?
You don't have any man boobs.
No man boobs.
No.
Nope. No mamby bambies. Cannabis stocks are reacting to shifting expectations around federal marijuana rescheduling, with investors watching closely for long-term impacts. Market volatility continues as companies try to position themselves for potential regulatory changes and new opportunities. Stocks going up, down, basically high and low like everything else. Global tensions and rising fuel costs tied to international conflicts are hitting the cannabis industry, increasing expenses and disrupting supply chains. Some businesses are also dealing with canceled orders, adding pressure to an already competitive market. Federal regulators have clarified that the synthetic cannabinoid HHC is banned and does not qualify as legal hemp. The decision tightens control over emerging compounds and signals a stricter stance on chemically altered cannabis products. Officials are doubling down on enforcements around synthetic cannabinoids, reinforcing the compounds like HHC fall outside legal hemp protections. The move aims to close gaps in regulation as new products continue to enter the market. Regulators playing whack-a-mole with the new cannabinoids. Minneapolis mayor has vetoed a proposal to criminalize drug paraphernalia, halting efforts to reduce penalties tied to possession items. Supporters argue it would have reduced harm, while opponents raise concerns about public safety and enforcement. I'm progress pause, Mrs. Weedman. Debate continues, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. This is like, how does your state's legal? If I want to smoke out of a bong, you didn't decriminalize that for me. So how am I supposed to smoke the flower that your state's growing? So I just don't understand. A new lawsuit in Illinois is targeting cannabis dispensaries for allegedly failing to warn consumers about potential mental health risk. The case could have broader implications for how cannabis products are labeled and marketed moving forward. Warning labels might be getting a whole lot longer, Mrs. Weedman. Thanks for sending me that article too, by the way.
You're welcome.
So, do you think legal weed may bounce back in 2026? Small operators might not. Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yeah, this is a business perspective, and we've talked about this happening in California. We've talked about it happening in Michigan. We're seeing it here in Illinois, and there's multiple other states. So price compression, maybe as a customer, you don't realize what's going on behind the scenes, but for the companies bringing product to dispensaries, there's only so many dispensaries, and there's a lot of competition to get in there and have your product sold.
There's only so much space.
And so it's kind of being dictated how those sales, the wholesale end of things transpires, is being dictated by really the dispensaries. And it's hurting some smaller brands that just can't thrive in this competitive space. So enough about my blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the article. This next story takes a look at where the legal cannabis industry might be headed and why 2026 could be a turning point, but not for everyone. According to High Times, after a tough stretch marked by falling prices, sorry. I'm going to get through this here. Oversupply. All right. According to High Times, after a tough stretch marked by falling prices, oversupply, and shrinking margins, the legal cannabis market is expected to start growing again in 2026. But here's the catch. That rebound may not benefit the smaller operators. Right now, the industry is dealing with serious economic pressure. Wholesale prices have dropped in many markets, while taxes, compliance costs, and competition remain high. Larger, well-funded companies are better positioned to survive those conditions, while smaller, independent businesses are getting squeezed. Many small operators are struggling to stay profitable, especially in saturated states where supply outweighs demand. Even if overall sales begin to recover, the gains may concentrate at the top, favoring multi-state operators and companies with deeper pockets. Access to capital is another major issue. Big players can raise money, secure loans, and expand during downturns. Smaller businesses often can't, leaving them stuck trying to survive month to month. Without financial flexibility, it becomes much harder to weather price drops or invest in growth. There's also the possibility of consolidation. As weaker businesses fold or sell off assets, Larger companies may step in and acquire licenses, facilities, or brands, leading to fewer independent players in the market overall. So while headlines might say the cannabis industry is bouncing back, the reality underneath could look very different. For some, 2026 could make for a comeback year. For others, especially smaller operators, it could be the point where staying in the legal market becomes harder than ever. And that raises a bigger question for the future of cannabis, whether legalization is creating a thriving, diverse industry or one that is increasingly favoring the biggest players in the game. I think that most of us can see the writing on the wall.
Oh, yeah. This is a make or break year for a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Oh, yeah. If I've talked to a lot of people this year, velocity is the key to success in 2026. It's just what it is. It is. And weather the storm.
Find whatever dollars you can to keep yourself alive, because maybe you can make it through this year. And if you can, then hopefully there's an upside.
Yeah. This year is going to be the key to velocity. The next 2 years are going to be the key. How many brands will be, not every state, but a lot of states, how many brands will be left, either be bought out, sold, whatever.
Or just dissolve.
Yeah. So I hope the money that you've all spent, I hope you make it. I hope you get through the storm, weather it, do the best you can, and just know that there's always tomorrow, and you can do it, and you can make it. I believe in you. International news, Canadian cannabis sales continue to grow in February, showing steady momentum in one of the world's most established legal markets. Good for you, Canada. Researchers in China have uncovered evidence showing cannabis is widely used in ancient times as a key agricultural crop, deeply integrated into daily life for food, fiber, and medicine. The findings highlight cannabis as a long-standing staple in human civilization. Humans been rocking with cannabis since way before it was controversial. Isn't that weird? I mean, China's laws on cannabis is fucking crazy, but I mean, they've been using it for centuries.
Forever.
It's crazy. Scientists believe the world's oldest cannabis plant, estimated at around 56 million years old, Mrs. Weedman, you were talking about this the other day, may have been identified in Berlin Museum collection. The discovery could reshape understanding of the plant's origins and evolutionary history. 56 million years, and people still acting like it's new. Mrs. Weedman was trying to pass me the joint. I said, no, no, no.
I didn't.
Entrepreneur Richard Bronson is calling for cannabis reform in the United Kingdom, pointing to growing public support and need for updated policies. His comments add pressure on lawmakers as a conversation around legalization continues to evolve. When billionaires start pushing it, you know convo's getting serious. Cannabis is increasingly being viewed as a geopolitical tool, influencing trade, diplomacy, and economic strategies across countries. A global tension rise, the plant is playing a role in shaping alliance and markets in unexpected ways, from countercultural to global strategy. Authorities in the UK are continuing to navigate complex cannabis enforcement policies, balancing medical access with strict recreational laws. Ongoing debates reflect shifting public attitudes and the challenge of modernizing outdated regulations. New international research is exploring cannabis-based treatments for various health conditions, with science reporting promising early results. However, experts stress that more clinical trials are needed before drawing firm conclusions. Cannabis tourism is gaining popularity worldwide, with travelers seeking destinations where they can legally explore cannabis culture, products, and experiences. Countries and regions are beginning to embrace the trend as a new economic opportunity. Vacation plans looking a little more elevated these days. Activists in Mexico recently took part in the global march pushing for cannabis decriminalization, calling for policy reform and social justice. The movement reflects ongoing international efforts to shift laws and perceptions around cannabis use. The movement global now, no borders on this conversation. And that was international news, everybody. Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
I love this movie. I haven't seen it actually in a really long time.
It's been a long time.
It's been a very long time. And this movie reminds me of your dad and my dad driving on their motorcycles together.
That'd be cool.
Yes. So tell us about the 1969 indie hit ranked among greatest American movies, and they used real weed.
Yeah, this movie is about 67 years old. This last story takes us back to a true counterculture classic and a film that didn't just portray drug use. The actors consumed real weed. They were actually baked. The movie is Easy Rider, the 1969 indie hit directed by Dennis Hopper and starring Peter Fonda. According to Parade, the film is still ranked among the greatest American movies of all time, and for good reason. Easy Rider helped define the late 60s counterculture. It follows two bikers traveling across America after a drug deal, exploring themes of freedom, rebellion, and the shifting social landscape of the time. But what really sets it apart is how real it got. During filming, the actors actually used real marijuana in certain scenes, most famously during the campfire sequence. Peter Fonda later confirmed that while cannabis use was real, rumors about harder drugs like LSD being used on the set were not true. That authenticity is part of what made the film so impactful. It wasn't just acting. It blurred the line between performance and real life, capturing the energy of the era in a way audiences hadn't seen before. The film went on to become a massive success, earning around $60 million on a tiny budget and helping launch what became known as the New Hollywood era. More than 50 years later, its legacy still holds. Easy Rider didn't just tell a story about the counterculture. It was the counterculture. From its themes to its production style and even its on-set choices, it captured a moment in time when cannabis and freedom were becoming deeply intertwined in American culture. And today it stands as a reminder of how far things have come and how much that rebellious spirit still lives on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We got to watch that movie.
Yeah, now I want to. Yeah, I want to watch it.
Yeah, so it reminds me of your dad and my dad, what they would have been like if they were riding their
riding
bikes
off into the sunset together.
Yes.
They'd be the Thelma and Louise.
Yes, both like their weed, both like their beers.
Butch and Ferdinand. That'd be fun.
Your dad was older, so Ferdinand and Butch.
Yeah, that sounds. I don't know. That sounds weird.
Oh shit!
I like it the other way.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd like to thank this honey banana for making me say no. Right when you were trying to pass, I'm like, no, I'm gonna finish international news first and smoke after the show because good stuff.
Yeah.
Who did we get this from? Lifted MicroGrowery.
Yeah, they've got some good stuff. We've had a couple of other strains from them. Yeah.
And really good. Yeah. I mean, everybody we've smoked so far from the Midwest Terp Offs weed has been exceptionally well done. And this one, though, boy, this one got me good. Phew. You got the munchies?
Don't I always? I'm ready to eat.
Said it would give you the munchies. So Mrs. Weedman, you got anything else to say before we go?
That's all, Mr. Weedman. Have a great week, everybody.
Everybody, we love you out there. We need some peace. We need some love. We need some kindness. Just go out there and live some fucking life and don't let anything get you down. It's rough out there right now. We love you, though. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.